Now, blade contact is terrifying, but it seems like people are just as afraid of wood flying at them as a result of kickback, and I don't understand that. Let me explain. When I was in high school, I played football and sang in choir, so I never took shop class. I was hit in the gut with kickback more than a few times, and I figured it was just part of woodworking. Don't look at me like that. I know now, but I still don't understand why people are so afraid of flying debris. Maybe I should do some ballistics testing, but I don't have a ballistics dummy, and those things cost between $500 and $2,000. Look at this shop. Do you think I have that kind of money? This is Monica. And I realize that a human being is probably a bit tougher than a turkey, but this is the budget we have at Worst Workshop. This is a splitter. It does the same thing as a riving knife. It just doesn't go up and down with the blade. And if you're wondering why my table saw doesn't have a riving knife, it's because saws built in the United States before around 2005 just didn't come with them. I did all the stupid things. I intentionally ran boards into the backside of the blade. I tried to get a piece stuck between the blade and the fence. I even started dropping wood on the spinning blade to try and get some better results. And I learned that kickback looks a lot more dramatic in slow motion. I did get one nasty kickback that knocked a 1-inch hole in the foam insulation of my garage door and was stopped by the metal. But I never got anything that looked more than just a little painful, and Monica was fine. She may have gotten some bruises, but no real injuries. Monica is delicious. You know, one of the most important pieces of safety equipment you can have in your workshop is a good pair of boots. They're with you literally at every step on every project that you do. That's why I'm so excited about this video's sponsor, Tecovas. And let's see what they've sent me. Oh, wow. This is the Long Haul Waterproof Mock Toe. It's a composite toe work boot in a beautiful espresso cowhide. Now, you don't expect a new boot, if it's a quality boot, to feel like a tennis shoe when you slip it on. The leather needs to be broken in. That being said, I don't know what Tecovas did with this, but it peels about halfway there already. Now, we've been talking about keeping our fingers safe, but I won't worry about my toes with these composite toe shoes. We have a dual density outsole, but on the bottom, they put this non-slip, harder sole that's oil resistant and slip resistant. I'm going to wear these boots for the next month, and then I'm going to come back and show you what they look like after a month of wear and a little bit of conditioning. Click on the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen to get your new favorite pair of boots today. I also learned that creating kickback is not as easy as I thought it was. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe if you can do something stupid over and over again without consequences, you start to think that maybe it's not so stupid after all. Maybe I've started to think that because I've had kickback incidents that didn't result in injury, that injuries don't happen because of flying debris. I think I need to dig deeper. So I started digging. I found a few videos of young guys getting hit in the gut, and I found some stories about older guys getting so hard they got dizzy. I did find one official record of a fatality in 2020. But the best research shows that almost all reported injuries from stationary saws are to the hands, so I'm still a little bit confused. I wonder what it'd feel like if I got hit in the gut by kickback today. How much force can kickback generate? I found a video by Jonathan Katz-Moses where he does basically the same testing I did, except way better. He even has a real ballistics dummy. Not only did he get a real ballistics dummy, he got Flammy's wood to help him do the math. He generated kickback at over 3,000 feet per second, which is 141 pounds of force. To calculate our force of impact, I'm going to measure the distance by a laser, weigh the object, and multiply the newtons by the square. Well, I'm not going to do that math, but it looked fast. It looked about the same, right? So what does 141 pounds of force feel like when it hits you? The average human punch is between 200 and 300 pounds of force, with elite fighters doing maybe 800 pounds. One way to estimate the force of an untrained fighter's punch is to take their weight and multiply by a factor of 1.3. Now that math I can do. I'm doing this equation in reverse to determine the weight of an untrained fighter that would generate 141 pounds of force. 108 pounds. I think I know a couple people that weigh something close to that.
Are you ready?
Yes. Good. Oh! All right, I'm ready. Oh!
That was weak.
That was way worse than I thought. They're not so little anymore. And I think if I were just starting at woodworking and something like that happened to me, it might put me off the whole thing. I get why people are afraid. So flying debris from kickback can have some catastrophic consequences, but statistics are telling us that the real danger is from blade contact. So why does that matter? Well, here's something I see way too often. I think in an effort to control the workpiece and keep it from flying away, a lot of people put their hands to the right side of the blade. And I think that's a bad idea. I mean, it's a pretty common practice. Just this week, I saw videos from Lincoln Street Woodworks and Four Eyes Furniture where they did that same thing. Those guys are great woodworkers, and they both had saw stops, so they were fine. But how many of us don't? Anything that you do in an effort to control that workpiece that puts your fingers near that blade, you need to stop. There's a better way. You can use feather boards to control your workpiece like I do. There are great products like the Gripper, and now there's the Grabber from Miles Craft. Somebody got real creative with that name. Or a simple push block, as long as it's tall enough to keep your hand away from the side of the blade. And I know that there are some people that are thinking, I use a riving knife, so this really isn't a problem for me. But I want you to rethink that, because kickback accidents happen even with a riving knife or a splitter. So the problem is there's no 100% effective solution against table saw kickback. A riving knife or splitter is going to save you 99 times out of 100. Experience is going to save you a lot too. But it's not about the 20,000 times you made a cut right. It's about the one time you get it wrong. And we need redundancy so that even if our perfect solution fails, there's something backing it up so that we don't get hurt when it does. So, we've had fun in this episode, but it's a very serious subject, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I hope you'll take something away from this episode that'll keep you a little bit safer at the table saw. I also hope that I'll start some discussion about keeping your hand at the right side of the blade. And finally, I hope you'll join us on the next episode of Worst Workshop.